Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it.
I couldn't do that shit if they were open. 20 people trying to work around them.
Yeah. That's understandable. I wouldn't want to fucking have to like risk dropping a hammer on somebody's head.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. There goes the rest of my pay for the rest of this year.
Mike be on his PQs.
For real.
What you been doing this week, Devin?
Shit, I'm not gonna lie, I just been chilling this whole week. I went to like me and Ellie and her family went out to eat Tuesday on her birthday, and then I think the other night we went out to this like kickback thing or whatever, like get together with her coworkers, and we dressed up as pirates. I think I'm like the flyest pirate ever that there's ever been, bro. Flyer than fucking Jack Sparrow. Shut the fuck up, bro. That shit's stupid. Other than that, I just been fucking chilling, honestly.
That's good.
Practicing guitar, you know, doing my music and shit. It's a slow process in the beginning, but I've been just doing finger exercises with the doon 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 doon, and then going all the way down to the bottom or to the top. I just been doing that so that I can navigate across the fretboard smoothly, so that when I go to learn scales and stuff, I can actually just like do it real quick.
You need to make Cameron give you some lessons.
The craziest shit is like whenever I've started playing, that's what I hated the most. Is like I only liked learning like 5-second snippets of like a song where it's like doon 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 doon, and I'm like, oh shit, I got that riff down, and I would just do that over and over, and I was like, the fucking rudiments, that shit's gay, but fuck, I've been finding motivation just doing like drum rolls and like little techniques on the guitar's been getting me into it. But lately, this past week, I've just been fucking only listening to like hip hop. I listened to like Travis's new album. I listened to Kendrick's new album. I was like catching up on all this shit while I was listening to classic rock that I didn't hear. And I was listening to Kendrick's album today while I was working out. That shit is crazy, bro. There's like one song where he's like, Mama, I've been sober. I promise her he didn't molest me. He's just like going on about how he was like, his mom molested him. He was molested when he was like 5. I was like, damn, this motherfucker goes deep.
That shit crazy.
And
That shit crazy.
I started writing on my deep shit where I was just writing down bar after bar, and I've just been trying to make hip hop beats.
So you got off the drum set, Cameron, or are you still trying to get it?
I bought that bitch. It's coming in Tuesday. I spent that whole pocket check. That bitch coming in. I cleaned out for it. I cleaned out an area. I bought zillion cymbals for the bastard. I bought Remo drum heads. I don't even know how to play drums. I'm ready. I'm ready, boy. I spent on that bitch.
How much did you end up spending on all that shit? How much were you get the cymbals for?
I'll tell you the cymbals.
That'd be at least 1,000.
The drum set, but no, I bought like the beginner ones, the Planet Z cymbals. But I was listening to like, bro, that shit, the drum core videos on YouTube. That shit goes so fucking deep. There's like 20 different people who like make just like 1-minute snippets of like cymbal sounds. There's like, and I was listening to these comparisons, and I was like, damn, I like that one. Like, damn, I like that one. Damn, this shit all sounds the fucking same. What's wrong with these motherfuckers? $500 for a pair of hi-hats, so I'll just spend $100 on mine.
Say hello to my cat, Hermes.
Oh, Trismegistus.
For real. Hold on. That's Trismegistus in the cut.
Oh God, she wanna be on the pod. She trying to talk up. Piece of shit.
Nah, but it's been a chill little week.
I need some fucking time off.
Been a little chill
I've been
week.
ready. That shit
Yeah.
Take you a week off, bro. I just took me a week off.
No, I can't take. I
said, fuck it.
Like, I'm gonna quit my job eventually, but I done told myself that I ain't gonna hold my boss like that. That motherfucker just going through too many problems, too much legal shit. I just told myself, I'm like, I ain't going home. I'll wait out until his shit's done, and then I'll leave. I'll let him get back on his feet.
That's fair.
I'm an empath, you know what I'm saying? I just gotta.
Wait,
Shut
you
your
getting
ass
a
up.
raise, didn't you?
What?
So you said you getting a raise, didn't you?
Well, I thought I did. He just paid me a little extra because we worked a little longer. I ain't used to all that. But that shit just, I don't know. It was chill this week. Like, the way I work, I kind of just can put my AirPod in and just listen and like different people I look up to talk about shit. It kind of keeps me motivated, but it's just kind of like that's what I have to do to stay doing my fucking music shit during it. Because if I don't do that, then I just come home tired. I don't want to be doing no extracurricular activities. I just want to fucking watch a movie or something. But I'll be pushing myself. I'm gonna start.
That's what we gotta do, bro.
Nicotine gum.
Do what?
On that nicotine gum, been pushing your
I
senses.
told Devin whenever I hung up
Your
on
5D.
I was like, Devin, I'm mix-maxing right now. I got the GAR and the Zane bomb.
Hold on.
That's what Devin does, I think. I don't know if he does them anymore. But he's doing pouches.
I'm gonna have to quit. I was fucking watching the World Series with my neighbor and my grandpa, and we were barbecuing. My neighbor bought a new iPad, and we were watching the World Series on his iPad while he was cooking barbecue in his garage. And that motherfucker's so into it, bro. We would just be like, me and my grandpa was smoking a cigar, just sitting there watching it, and all of a sudden, we just like, we didn't even know what was going on in the game. Like, I don't know the difference between a fucking strike or a ball. And all of a sudden, something would happen in the game, and that motherfucker would just be like, yes, yeah, just like fucking stop everything he's doing, and just like start screaming in the garage. And then I went about like 9 o'clock, and my grandpa stayed there. And I woke up this morning and found out they won, and I was like, so what did he end up doing whenever they got some sort of like home run or
Hold up, y'all think you're going for the Rangers?
what the fuck? We live by that.
The fuck?
You just offended this motherfucker, bro.
Hold up, bro, what? That was for real a comeback game right there.
Bro, my neighbor was telling me like some crazy shit. Like, I didn't know none of like the reason why people hate the Astros. And I was watching, and they had this little device. This guy like stopped the game because his batteries stopped working in his headset, and he's a player. And I was like, what the fuck they have a headset for? And he was like, they tell them certain like signals and shit whenever they think a play's gonna be made. And I was like, that's like fucking cheating. And he was like, whoa, the Astros he started going off, bro. He's like, the fucking Astros the one that started that shit. That's how they won the World Series. Them motherfuckers had cameras in the outfield telling them and all this shit. He's like, if you can't tell, I don't like the Astros. And I was just like, I think you know their number one fan. You didn't like that.
Yeah, I think he's just a dick rider.
God damn it, boy.
I don't know. I just can't really get that into sports. Like, the only two sports I've ever really liked was MMA.
Yeah, I don't really care too much about it.
And, like, WWE. I like WWE.
I watch like the Super Bowl or something.
Yeah, Super Bowl cool.
I like
all that.
the big like one time a year event type things.
Yeah. Well, my grandpa don't even give a fuck.
No,
And my neighbor was like putting him on so hard to baseball. Like my grandpa's like, we gotta get Fox. You gotta show me how I can get Fox so I can watch the game and all this shit. And I was like, I don't even give a fuck about baseball, but I hooked him up.
Now I'm going to get on your grandpa's pass of the Rangers.
Just a Ranger household from now on.
shit, I don't care about none of that shit, bro. I don't understand it, and I don't even like whenever that conversation comes up in public. I just tell people straight up, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, bro. They're like, you don't watch baseball? You're like, no, I don't give a fuck about baseball. You know what I'm saying? I respect that other people got that interest, but me personally, you know what I'm saying? I've been to a few baseball games, and I fell asleep every time I went to one of them bitches.
Yeah, it's boring.
They're not very.
My main thing is I be watching
Go ahead.
that shit, and they're like, oh, that guy's like 21 years old. Like I think I got autism or something. But I'll be watching that shit, and I'm just like, bro, this motherfucker is old, and I'm sitting there just like watching this motherfucker do what he want to do, and I'm wasting 4 hours watching the game. That shit seems a little gay to me. That seemed a little gay to me. Like watching some porn.
Yeah.
Somebody else fuck a woman. I'm just sitting here
I
watching.
mean, I don't mind if it's like Ellen at a bar or something, or just like while you're hanging out, you know. But I wouldn't like go somewhere just to watch the game.
Yeah, no, it's different with that. But like I don't even drink, so it's like these motherfuckers are making an event out of it by just like drinking. When
Oh
it
yeah.
happens or
Well, you might as well
whatever.
not even watch the game.
And I'm just like sitting there drinking fucking Topo Chico, smoking a cigar. It's like this motherfucker is 19, and he's in the World Series, and I just start getting in my head. I'm just like,
You're like, bro, I'm wasting my life. What about? I need to fucking figure this shit out right now. What the fuck?
for real, that shit sends me into like a fucking a thought loop for like the next day. Like I was sitting there working this morning, listening to that Kendrick album, and in my head I'm like, that's why I think I don't know if other people do that. Like I feel like I got autism with that shit. I'm just like, what the
Yeah, I
fuck
think
is
you
going
do too.
Zane confirmed it.
God, they gave me that diagnosis.
Dr. Zane the cut.
But
Nah, I feel you though.
I don't know. I'm trying to learn to have more fun with it, because almost all the shit I do, I just start from like a place of competition. Like even my music, it's hard for me to just like have fun with it sometimes. That shit.
Yeah.
I had to stop them videos because that shit sitting there getting fucking 7 views. I remember there's this Indian kid that commented on my shit, and he was like, hey dog, I emailed you. You please look back on my email and shit like this, like right the couple days after I quit. And he was like, I need you to teach me. I need you to teach me. And I was just like, messaged him. I was like, learn yourself.
He thought you had the secrets to the universe or something. You gotta tell him straight up, bro. I can't save your ass. You gonna have to do that shit yourself.
Well, that's the shit that made me quit making that. Is I like finally had the realization like this shit really is just like lame, telling like other people how to live their life. This motherfucker getting them chakras in, boy. Them good vibrations. Y'all trying to meditate real quick? Hey, I could sample that shit. Hold up. Let me hit my record on that bitch.
So you gonna try to stay with your same car, Cameron?
My same what?
Your same car?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna drive that bitch till the wheels fall off. This shit. The other day, like right before my friend left working with
Or
me.
you just talking about getting a truck for a little bit?
Oh yeah, I ain't getting no truck. I'm gonna put all my tools in my car. I really don't even want to be doing the construction shit no more. I was like obsessed with that for like 2 weeks, and then I let my autism take over on that. And I was just like, I was looking up
2
tools.
weeks.
For real, I was looking up tools I was going to buy. I was planning shit out, looking on Facebook marketplaces for 7.3 diesels, and then I was just like, I don't even want to do that. And I spent like $3 grand buying music equipment. It's been 2 months with that, and I'm still going on the music, so I feel like that's the longest my autism's ever let me go with something, so I feel like it's my destined purpose. But
You know what? That's all it is, bro. You gotta. That's kind of what it is. The whole thing about like finding your purpose is you have to flip through different pages in different books until you find a book that suits you, and then you actually read all the way through that book. That's the same thing with like your passions. We jumble all these things to see what we like to do, and the reason we don't stick with it so long is not necessarily because we don't have the strength or the discipline to follow through with it, but it's just not something that suits you who you are. But when you find that thing that tells you that this is like something that you actually want to keep going, and you make a conscious decision every single day and every moment to be like going towards that goal, then that's how you know you found something that is truly part of your character. And that's what happened with me. I didn't know shit about how to make music when I found out that I wanted to make music. I just knew I wanted to make music. So I was like, okay, well, I don't know how to make this shit, but I'm going to figure it out. And so since that time, yeah, I kind of fucked off for a little while because I lost, like, I lost faith in myself because I thought I couldn't do it. But then, like, I got that back and it came back stronger. So since then, I've just been doing as much as I can, and I've been having fun with it. Not trying to force something to come out of it, just kind of going with the flow.
Yeah. That shit takes a really long time to get like actually good at that stuff. No matter, it's just like the hours you put in, you know.
Right.
that's what fucks me over is like how
You could get really good in like a year or 5 years.
like I remember back whenever me and Adam made that lyrical or the psychedelic mayonnaise shit, and ever since then I was like super into the fucking music shit. Like but it comes in waves. It's always something that I go back to whenever I don't really know what I want to be doing. And this is like the first time during that it's actually just stuck. And I fucking put in, I got probably like 100 in the last month, 100 different sessions on Ableton of shit I've created, and I'm kind of proud of that shit. It's like the first time I've consistently done it, but I'm excited to
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're putting the work in, it don't matter if you're getting like, I mean, it does matter, but at least you're getting something, you know. You don't always have to be working towards like a completed album or something.
Yeah. I like,
Agreed.
well, really, two things that really like set me straight was like a Tame Impala thing I saw him say, where he's just like, he was explaining how a lot of like the bigger artists make their albums and why they wait like year-long periods. And I always thought like, I thought of it as like they made something and then they quit making it. But he's just like, most of the people he's worked with, from like Travis Scott to even a Kanye, they make this fucking shit like almost every single day until something like really fucking grabs them. God damn, I just ashed all over my desk. Grabs them, and then they just fucking go straight into that shit, and then they start their album up. But
Yeah.
right now I'm kind of in like a gray area with like my my inspirations. I have like all these different areas of like genres that I dabble in. Right now it's like hip hop heavy. Like I haven't really been into hip hop, making hip hop since fucking like sophomore year of high school, but I've fucking like in the past 2 weeks gone so deep into this shit. All my shit, I haven't picked up my guitar in like a week, and right before that, I was making like a new song on the guitar almost like every fucking day. So that's also like that's an interesting thing. I feel how you can find inspiration from those various sources.
I'm inclined to agree. Uh, I think I think the most important thing for me in the like that I've learned so far is like at first. So what it started my inspiration for wanting to make music was EDM, electronic music. I I was watching some of my favorite producers make their music, and I was like, damn, this shit is so cool. Like I love the way it sounds, and like I just think it's really cool. And so my mind was set on making music exactly how they make music, and then I started trying to do what they do, and it just wasn't fun to me. Like it's so like very analytical, and it takes so much years of like practicing and learning the digital audio workstation and all this shit to actually be able to make music how they make music. So I kind of drifted away from it, and I was like, I had to gain a new perspective on what I actually liked, and the conclusion I came to was that I have a real like I have a passion for live instruments. Like I've always been around people who made music with live instruments. I've always had a guitar as a kid. Growing up, I always had a guitar. I didn't actually sit down and learn how to play the guitar, but I always had one because I guess I just didn't have the motivation to pick it up. But this recent revelation I made was, so I was watching a Tame Impala video, and I made a connection. I told you about this last podcast how you Cameron introduced me to Tame Impala for the first time, and I remember sitting in his car and listening to the music, and I was like just like blown away by like how different it sounded and how
Yeah,
like.
it's
What were you gonna say,
not
Zane?
something you're used to.
Yeah, exactly. I thought back to that time how it made me feel, and I was like, okay, let me look into him. So I started looking into his music and how he creates the music, and I was like, holy shit, this is what I want to do. Like not exactly like his music, but I want to make like psychedelic, like rock type EDM with synths and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Just kind of like a mix of all these cool sounds that I think sound good, and then put some vocals on top of it and make something like individually unique to me.
That's like,
Yeah, I mean, you always got. I mean, you can't make something exactly like another person unless you just make like a remake
Like a cover song
or
or
a
something.
cover. Yeah.
that's what makes shit so great. Like I like a lot of music that's been copied. Like a lot of the hip hop I'm into that I realize like a lot of this shit sounds the same. Like there's certain things where like you hear it and you're like, what the fuck? That's like crazy. Like today I heard that Big Pimpin' by Jay-Z, and it captivated me. That little like that shit. I was just like, God damn, that shit cold. And then like I listened to that I don't know if y'all seen the Mexican OT guy, the new dude from Houston with the Johnny Dang song. It's like basic as fuck, but it captivated me the same way. And that to me, that's what I love about music is just like the diversity of how something super simple can grab me the same way as something super complicated like that beat or like a Tame Impala. And that's what keeps me going. I don't know where I was going with that.
That shit's funny, bro.
Where the fuck your topics at, Cameron?
I got my topic, but like you switched me up on this shit. Like I got all right. Let's get back on the topic so I can actually coherently think. Talk about shit like that. I got this concept. So I've been into David Goggins, like that hustle shit, for a long time, and then I've started to like kind of indulge my feminine, creative, queer side. I guess that's what I visualize it as. Like you got like this hyper masculine, like get your shit, and then you got like this like little be free, faggy thing. And I've kind of tried to bend.
Shut up, bro. What are you talking about, bro?
You know what I mean? Like it's like the feminine and masculine. That's how I visually conceptualize.
But why are you describing the feminine as faggy, bro? That shit. What?
It's not like a.
I'm on your ass.
That's just my vernacular. That's my vernacular, dog. That's
Okay,
the way
that's fair. You live out there in the country.
is like. I'm not.
That's because you live out there in the country.
Exactly.
You live out there in the country.
It's like very blunt. I know that that's not like the way. That's not the politically correct way to say it, but from all the motherfuckers out here, it's like if you're vulnerable in like the art thing, that it's like kind of like you're either just like fucking singing at a bar, and that's as far as it goes. Is like the redneck dude that's like fucking playing country songs, drinking a beer. You start doing like some like Tame Impala shit around these motherfuckers, they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you listening to, boy? You've been doing too many of them drugs. You've been on them drugs. You've been on that psilocybin.
You've been on them drugs. You've been on them drugs.
That's like the way that. But I've been trying to find a mesh between them, and what I've found, and the best representation of that, is like a Kanye. That's why I'm so like fascinated with this motherfucker. Is it's like he's super confident and like has faith in himself and is just like fucking with the masculine frame of it, but then he's just like completely not afraid to be vulnerable in songs like there's this one performance from the Life of Pablo tour, and it's a popular ass video where he's singing Hey Mama, and you just see it start hearing him sing it, and all of a sudden he just like breaks down on the stage. And he's just like holding the microphone, like he has that mask on his face, but he's like crying. And I just find that shit to be like the coldest thing. It's like this fucking super driven, like hardcore thing mixed with that. And that's kind of what I'm trying to go after with what I'm trying to create. Is like something that's hard, but it's also just like vulnerable.
I get you. That's the basic like genius of all like good like songs and art pieces of artwork is being able to take a idea inside your mind and create it in reality, but letting go of this idea of it needing to be perfect, or letting idea of this letting go of the idea that it needs to sound a particular way or look a particular way to adhere to a certain group of people, and just creating it with the full energy of your heart, the full energy of your passion, and just letting it all out, and then completing it and just giving it to the world and having no expectations of its outcome, but just letting it do its thing.
Exactly, bro. That shit describes what I'm getting at perfectly. It's like I think about another way to describe it is like Young Thug or like Lil Peep, one of these rappers or Lil Uzi even, where they're like fucking paint their nails, wear a dress or something. And I would never do that. Like that's not what I think is kind of cool. But in a way, it's like punk, because they're just like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just like, I don't give a fuck, but I'm also just gonna be vulnerable in front of you. Like to me, that shit just seems hard. Not what they're doing exactly, like not painting your nails, but just like it as a concept of just. That's why I say faggy. Is like I imagine like. whenever I let myself be like super vulnerable in front of someone, like I don't really cry at all. Like I think the last time I cried really broke down was over a death in my family. That was like the last time I really think about myself crying. And to be able to do that, but then also keep a frame of myself in my head of just like, I don't give a fuck, I'll do that in front of somebody, seems hard to me. That's
Right.
what I want to get to with my music and shit like that. Not that I'm gonna cry on the song, but just like I got there in a certain way with my videos. Like I got there in a certain way with my videos, I think. Where like I'd post these just like completely off the dome things. And like I remember I'd get messages from some of my friends where they'd just be like, they'd try to shit on me and just be like, what the fuck? And I was like, at first I was taken aback and I was kind of like embarrassed. And there was one time where like I tried to upload a video and it uploaded onto my Snapchat story, and like two or three people messaged me. One of them was like, what the fuck, this is corny. And then another one was someone I ain't talked to in a while, and he was like, preach, bro, this shit, this back. And it was just like this separation of that just kind of, I don't know, it made me realize that that's what I seek, is just like that, not giving a fuck about being vulnerable.
Hey, that's just that's really all there is to it, is just putting all of your heart into the thing that you love doing the most, and trusting yourself that you can make that feeling come to life. Because we have to not listen to that self-doubt that tells us that, oh, well, you know, this doesn't sound like this right now, or I can't figure this out, or whatever it is. But just continuing to pick it up, do something, and don't even think about time. I've kind of let go of this sense of time, because when I think about time and how much progress I'm making in the amount of time that I have, I start to freak out, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm not really like for instance, like when I first picked up the guitar, I didn't know shit, right? I didn't know shit about it. I was just fucking strumming the guitar, like just fucking making the sounds with this shit. And you know, I did that for a few days, just fucking strumming that shit. And then it got to a point where I was like, well, I'm not really learning anything on here. Like, I thought I would have at least learned a couple of like cool chords or something, just like fucking around on here. And then I had to tell myself, like, okay, if you want to learn this instrument, you need to sit down and learn the instrument. You need to walk before you can run. So I'm learning to walk before I run. So instead of just fucking strumming the shit out of it and fucking just going, I listen to every string, every note, and I practice my finger movements and just get comfortable. Because first of all, this is a 7-string guitar. This isn't a 6-string. So that extra space I got right here, it's a pain in the ass to like actually move around this bitch, but that's cool, cause yeah, exactly. So I kind of just like, first I'm gonna end up getting a 6-string here not too long. Like I saw like a good deal on Facebook Marketplace for one, but
you need to look at the Squires. Them some bitches. Bro. People shit on them, but I know motherfuckers who buy like $1,000 Fenders and won't play anything but that. And like, you get you a Squire and replace like the pickups on it. You got $200 into it, that son of a bitch, I swear to God. That it plays the exact. I play the real fucking tellies and shit like that, and to me, as long as the like intonation and like the string height is right, it don't fucking matter, bro. I swear, it sounds the exact. I got one right there. I got that Squire Mustang, and I play it more than my like Epiphone almost. Like it just them some bitches. I like that, and they got the thin neck. If you get the Strats or whatever, you can get the ones where they're like a shorter neck, and them some bitches are fun to play because you can just speed up and down that bitch.
That's fair.
And them Chinese ones.
That's
The
fair.
Amazon Chinese ones, them son of a bitches. I bought $100 guitar. It's like $150 copy of something. And 3 years later, that guitar is so good. Like it's got shit that $700 imitation Epiphone has. It's only $150 Chinese guitar. Them son of bitches went up to $400 because people caught on to them and how good they are. And that's my second favorite guitar. And I don't tune that bit. I mean, I try to stay in the practice of tuning every time I play. But if I don't, I hardly ever hear a difference. It just stays in tune that good.
Let me see it. Let me see it. Pull it out. You got the guitar, the guitar rack, or what?
I play this guitar like it. Well, I ain't played it in a little bit. I got focusing on these beats. But I wanna get into like making the riffs onto that for my beats. But I've been real into samples and shit.
Fair. Nah, just go with what your heart tells you to go with, bro.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I'm following the intuition. I'm going by that. I've been into like all my beats I've been making have been like with the synth. I got this like cracked plug-in of Serum on Ableton, and I've just been like fucking around with that, feeling like Mike Dean, just like I'm making Jesus or something. And then I go on Reddit.
Mike Dean, I watched him fucking do a video.
Bro, I've been watching a shit.
That shit went crazy.
Videos. That motherfucker made me want to smoke weed again, even though I don't even fuck with weed like that. That man just like, I watched a video of him, and he's just like in the studio dabbing, bro. He just like, hold up, I gotta master this song for Kanye, and he takes 5 dabs in a row, and then rolls a blunt, and he's like, alright, I'm ready to go. Let's get this bitch. And he just makes My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Like, I swear to God. You ever heard about him, Zane?
No, I've never heard about him.
Mike Dean is like, bro, he started off with Selena. He produced for Selena. Then he's from Houston. He did all like a lot of the Houston rappers and shit, DJ Screw and all these people. And then he's made a lot of help. He's helped Travis on most of his albums. And he did Kanye on The Graduation, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, Yeezus, all of Kanye's new albums and shit. And that motherfucker's almost as cold as Rick Rubin. But Rick Rubin doesn't do the same thing as he does. Like what Rick Rubin does that makes Rick Rubin still like one of the GOATs is he don't do anything. That motherfucker literally just sits there and just listens and is like, yeah, that's good. Like, I swear, like, like, I swear to God, bro, it's crazy. Like, the top artists seek this motherfucker out. And they just play him his, like, record. And he just sits there and closes his eyes. And then after the album's done, he's just like, it's ready. I swear to God. I thought, like, he made all the Beastie Boy shit. And
Using
like,
his mind powers.
Bro, Rick Rubin's the guy. He made almost all of Adele's original albums. He did Eminem's LP. He did fucking all of the System of a Down albums. He did, bro. And Kanye. He did Kanye shit. Like, that motherfucker is just like a little wizard. He brought Johnny Cash back to life in the 90s and worked with him all the way till he died. He's like, that's what one of my muses is. Like, me and Devin got like fucking manifesto podcasts about Rick Rubin. We sit on here and just talk about like it. He'd probably see that and think we're just like obsessed with that motherfucker, but I am. That shit, I want that man's magic. I want to like lay. This shit sounds so gay. I want to be like laying down on a field and Rick Rubin just come up above and scratch his beard and that magic just flows down on me.
I don't know about all that, but seems pretty chill.
Nah, he's definitely goated, bro. That motherfucker. I read his. I haven't even finished reading the active one because, like, Cameron brought up the Creative Act is his book. He brought up an important point that the book isn't meant to be read all the way through. Whenever you're feeling like you need like some creative inspiration, you just open that bitch up to any page and find something that makes you makes you want to create more. So I went like halfway through the book and then I just stopped reading it, and ever since then I just pick it up, read something, then I'm back to it.
That book is like the Tao. Like, I swear, he don't mention a single time of any experience in the studio with a single person, but you read it and it's like you don't even want to keep reading. You read something and it just makes you want to put it down and go and like make something. That's what makes it great. It's like it is just like a instant surge of like wanting to create. But that's the thing about the like whole motivation and shit like that is like I'm starting to just like not even believe in like the traditional sense of motivation. It's more of just like these little sparks, if you will. Like today, my spark that like surged like a 3-hour just like fucking session of me learning something brand new that I'm like just after this I'm gonna probably spend a lot of my day doing it is just like sampling. And that was like a little spark, and I took it and I ran with it, and it kept me motivated, if you will, all day. But that book is like a fucking 400-page book full of just like little sparks like that.
Sorry, chat. I'm eating these chips like a motherfucker. But look, I used to think the same way. I was like, man, I'm waiting for this motivation to hit so I can start something. But all the motivation is just the voice inside your head telling you to do it. That's the motivation right there. Once you do it, you actually do that thing, then your mind finds a way to make it fun. You know? Once you get involved in it,
I'll be wandering around the house like a stray cat. I would. It's like looking for little things to like procrastinate on instead of just doing it. And then I'm just like today, I kind of started the day off like it. Like on the weekends, I don't pick up my phone until like 10 o'clock. And I'm very strict. I do my workouts, do all this shit that I got to get done type things. And then I'll start my little like fucking stray cat phase sometimes. Where I'm just like wandering around like I'll go talk to my grandpa about some shit I don't even care. Like just trying to fucking do something besides what I want to be doing. And then I'll go and like today, the main thing was listening to that Kendrick album. It just gave me a little spark, and then I got up in here. But I don't know. I could ramble on and on and on. Everybody listening out there, if you struggle with the procrastination thing, quit being a bitch. That's just simple as it is. You a glutton. Procrastination is gluttony of the mind. And get your ass up and get to work, dog. What you feel about that, Zane?
Yep.
100 facts.
I don't know.
For me,
Yeah, I
I
mean, I
think
think they're kind of the same thing. Being lazy.
yeah.
Being
Well,
lazy and procrastinating.
there's different like words for it that people just like overcomplicate it by acting like it's a different emotion when it's all tied up into the same thing. Like it's so straight. One of the words like being aware about it is well, I mean, I was aware about it, but I didn't like really allow it to have impact on the way I thought. But it's like there's only two main things that really affect you getting something done, and that's the first thing is if you just quit doing it, you gave up, you ain't gonna fucking achieve what you were going after. That's just straightforward. And the second is how often do you do it? Like you can sit here and be like, oh yeah, I'm so focused on this, but you're just watching like 1,000 videos on it, or just like buying equipment that for it. Like I was in this camp like 3 weeks ago. I was in this cycle of just like video and video. I'm still in the cycle of video a little bit, just watching, digesting, having more inputs than outputs. But a lot of these people that act like they're doing something when all they're doing is just like fucking digesting and consuming, and it's like, dog, the most important thing if you want to get any goal done is forward momentum.
I
And
agree.
for me, I take that shit to an extreme where like my extremism on it can like make me procrastinate. Like I have this like David Goggins approach to this shit where I try to stay like super militant. I watch a podcast from like a top artist and they'll just be talking about like, oh man, I didn't do my laundry today or I didn't do this, and I'm just like, this shit is just so routine for me and so like, duh, I'm gonna get that done so I don't even think about it. But what I found myself in this place of is I was disciplined with all these things. Had my workouts on point, had time set aside to work on it. I had small tasks like laundry and phone calls done and over with. But it's like I was at the finish line and I wouldn't take a step away from it. Like I got my running shoes on, I got my fucking shorts ready to go. I'm fucking in position, and I would just stay stuck. Everything done just stuck. And for me, that
It's like
exactly, bro. It's like you're like at a static point of everything set in line, but you keep finding little ways to like wiggle around it to convince yourself in the moment that you're doing it, and then 2 weeks later you're sad and you're like, oh man, what the fuck? I'm never gonna do this. I'm not gonna be great. I'm not gonna do all this. For me, I'm coming up with like gay ass poems about how like I'm not gonna get this shit done. I'm not gonna. Sorry again, listeners. I talk bluntly, but oh man, I'm not gonna do this and that. But it's like, bro, it don't take me fucking 2 ounces of energy to go in there and just like fuck around on a MIDI keyboard, and I'm actually taking action with it. Or the videos, the listeners don't. If you don't know, I was making for a while. I thought what I wanted to do was make these YouTube videos, and I stayed consistent with it. But I remember I'd make it was super easy to sit there and just talk to a camera for 20 minutes, spend 30 minutes editing it, spend an hour uploading it across different platforms. Super simple, easy, repeatable formula. And it could have taken up 2 hours of my day and just been like a fucking task on autopilot. But I would sit there and I would just be like, oh, I would just like do my stray cat thing. Or I'm just like wandering around, procrastinating, looking for shit to do. Oh, I'm gonna get this done. Oh man, I'm so angsty because I can't get this shit done. And then I'll go and do it, pull the trigger and get it done that day. And then after I'm just like, bro, I feel so exhausted, not from doing the task, but from fucking procrastinating. I was exhausted from the procrastination, added on by doing the task. And it's like, if I could have found a way like I have now to cut that procrastination out and just have the action, then I could have doubled the fucking action. And then got my shit done quicker and not been one of these motherfuckers where it's like, oh yeah, you gotta put 5 years of working to achieve this and that. It's like, no, bro. This world is whatever you want it to be, and you can achieve your shit. And you might not be like Kanye level, but you can get to like fucking Pierre Bourne level, like where you're like at least making money from this shit in like 2 years if you really do it.
Bro, I agree with you 100%, honestly. My thing is like, I feel like me and you have the same kind of thing, like, in our side of our heads, where it's like we have this desire, we know what we want out of life, and we know that we can get there, but then we distract ourselves with all these other things, like, you know, how to do this and how to do that, watching all these people on the internet do these things, but it doesn't necessarily like add value to our like acceleration to success, but it kind of just pulls us back into the same spot we've been, but we think that it's furthering us in our success. And for me, I watched a lot of shit, I watched a lot of videos, and I came to the conclusion that watching other people be successful the rest of my life is not what I want to do. What I want to do is I want to use the internet to my advantage and not to my disadvantage. So whenever I catch myself like doom scrolling and just like trying to find as much information as possible, I put my fucking phone down, because at that point I'm not gaining anything. So I try to but the old me, I would definitely just keep going and waste hours on the fucking computer or on my phone trying to look for like the secret to success and the door that I'm going to be able to walk through and just be magically successful in 1 fucking hour. That's what I was looking for. But now it's okay. I know that I have strong ambitions, big dreams, and I know that I can do anything. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. So find a way to combine your passion and business. Have multiple sources of income that fuel the passion. And once your passion is fueled, you no longer have to worry about making it off of music, because you're not making it off of music. You're just making the music. Of course, I want to be a well-known artist all across the globe, but I don't necessarily want it. Like my success isn't going to come purely from the music. My success is going to come from all directions possible. And this was like 3 weeks ago, because we talked about it last week, and I had the revelation a week before we had the conversation. So about 3 weeks ago I had that thought, and then we talked about that. And ever since then, like, I don't know, all my worries have kind of just washed away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely have a very positive outlook and like a lot of faith after our conversations each week. But I just got to start being more honest with myself. Like you and me, I feel like what relates us the most is we're self-aware. Like a lot of people are self-aware, but they don't give a fuck and they don't do it. There's levels of this shit, right? So
Right.
I'd say like a baseline level is someone who has a dream, they want to do something, but they keep over and over and over. They never put a foot forward towards something, and they don't really give a fuck too. They have different things that give them the satisfaction, or they don't have to focus on it, right? And then there's the deeper level where it's like, you are aware, constantly aware, you're constantly thinking about this shit, but you're in this like fucking stray cat procrastination wandering mode of watching this video and watching this, and then you can go even deeper than that and be on a level where you are taking action more than you're taking in inputs from some bullshit. And for me, that's kind of the level I'd see myself at. But then I got to be even more aware and more accountable with myself in the sense of, for the first time in a while, I'm seeing the advantages of the online. Like, Kanye didn't have YouTube. Kanye had to go into the fucking studio with Jay-Z if he wanted to learn from him. And there's a positive to the fact that I can sit here and watch a 2-hour interview with Kanye and get fucking gems. Get like the best like piece of advice. If I met that motherfucker in real life, he couldn't give me better advice. It's tailored to a specific point in time where he was just on his game giving straight up fucking lessons. But then I also have to be real with myself and be like, yeah, but then there was also 40 minutes of that podcast where he's sitting there talking about fucking Kim Kardashian and Jewish people and just bullshit that is just distracting me. And that's where I feel like a lot of creative people have their problems. It's like, bro, yeah, it's cool that you can learn all these lessons and learn this gold from this person, and you're at a specific point in time where you can have all this. But I guarantee you, if Kanye was in that position where he did have that back then, he was so obsessed with his music and shit that he would just choose not to indulge in it anyways. And he made it without indulging in that anyways because he didn't have that. So for all the people who are stuck in this loop of watching the shit over and over, you don't need it. Like, I've gotten to the point where I thought it was negative, I want to quit it, I thought it was as bad for me as like drugs or something like that, as much of a time waster. Then I was like, oh no, it's good, let me indulge, and now I was addicted to it, and now I'm to the point where it's like, every once in a while I'll see what this person's up to. I'll specifically tailor my inputs. This is what I need to be doing in the future. But I don't. Whenever I come home, I don't need to sit there and watch a 30-minute video of
that's
my
a good
person.
Sorry, it cut out, so I thought you were done talking.
No, you're good. The lag on this shit is like messed up, but you're good.
And to say, I feel like that's some very mature insight that you've gained, and I don't know, like, it's just like I feel like all this self-improvement stuff, all the you know, it might sound corny to some people, and like if you're watching this and you think this is corny, then this is not the podcast for you, my friend. But all this self-improvement stuff, like every single day, like trying to be the best version of myself, I actually feel like it's paying off now. In the beginning, I had so much doubts about it, and I was like, man, I might as well just stay the same person, because like this is easier, and I know how to do this. I know how to navigate life being this person. But once I started to like break that cycle and wake up and become the best version of myself every single day, things actually got harder before they've become easier, because I had to become a whole new person. I had to change things completely. But now something happened, like something changed, bro. I don't know what it was, like it was like my brain just got rewired like in the past few weeks. And like I'm like, okay, I'm like it's like, stop smoking that grass.
No, I got mail.
Oh, but basically, like I had very little confidence in myself at the beginning, but I had that little inkling of confidence got me to where I am now, and now my confidence has grown exponentially. Like, it has grown so much since that point to this point, that seeing that And this is all a perspective game, my friends. This is all about your perspective on life. What do you choose to think about the life that you are living right now? Are you going to see it as, you can choose to see it as not good, right? But are you going to change something? Are you going to make change? Or are you going to view your life as shitty and continue to let it be shitty? That's it. Like, that's how you start this journey. Look at your life and look at where you are right now. And ask yourself, am I doing what I love to do? Am I doing what I love to do, or am I at least working towards doing what I love to do? If you're not doing those things, then you need to reevaluate yourself, because life is not meant to be working a wage slave job. We are all creators. Everybody is God experiencing itself in 8 billion different forms. We are human beings. We are creators. We create things with our fucking hands, with our minds, with our mouths, with our senses. We create things. We're not meant to work for somebody else for the rest of our lives. So, my advice to everybody is to do what makes you happy and do what you love to do. I'm not here to tell you what's, like, if you like to fucking bag groceries at the fucking grocery store, then do that shit. But do it to the best of your ability. Don't half-ass it. If you like to actually bag groceries, bag those groceries as best as you possibly can. And be very intentional with how you bag those groceries. Make sure you stack everything in there nice and neat. Make sure you have a nice day. For real. If you like to bag groceries, bag those fucking groceries. But shit, at least do the best you can at it, because I'm tired of seeing these half-ass individuals walking around this motherfucking planet. Stop half-assing shit. I was one of those people too, but no longer am I one of those people. If I love to do it, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, because that's how God designed us. He designed us to make things and do things as He would do them. So don't disappoint God, motherfucker.
I feel like I really don't give a fuck what nobody does. Like, I saw this in a while back. I watched this Future interview that Future did. And I don't think I've ever seen a Future interview. I don't know if he even does interviews like that, but it was from like 10 years ago. And he said something, and it was from 10. I saw that it was 10 years old, and I was like, holy shit, this shit resonates so much today. He said, bro, this is exactly what he said. He's like, there are motherfuckers who like to eat beef and work out and like be on their super like spiritual healthy shit. And then he's like, there are people who like to just smoke weed and do this. In my mind, I thought about that Mike Dean guy, and then I thought about like, I don't remember what example for like the spiritual side I thought about, but I was like, yeah, I really don't give a fuck what nobody else does. I'm just going to do what I want to do. And I feel like if everybody can get to that revelation, now of course society, the way it's set up, if everybody just fucked off, we couldn't do that. And I'm not political. I don't know enough about that shit to make statements on it. But I do know that I'm going to do what I want to do. I don't give a... I used to think about, oh, what if this person in my family thinks about this? What if this person thinks about that? And I still even like 2 weeks ago when I started, or a week ago whenever I started getting more into the hip-hop shit, I was like, damn, if I did this shit and I actually got into it and put my all into it, say I'm going like a year and I've been doing it for a year, what the fuck is this person in my family gonna think about me doing hip-hop? They don't like that music or all these different things. And then I just thought back to that interview I watched, and I was in that revelation I had while watching the interview where it's like, I can't give a fuck about what these motherfuckers think about any of that. And especially if I consider
Right.
my family and that they love me, that yeah, we might have some disagreements about it, but who the fuck cares? It's like, I stopped doing
Right.
drugs and drinking alcohol and shit like that, and I feel weird hanging out around certain family members where that is the social occasion, is like drinking and doing all this. Like, it's awkward as fuck. I went to the bar. I've been to the bar like 5 times. No, probably more than that. Probably like 6 times since I've been drinking.
What is it?
And it's
6, 7, 8, 9,
Yeah.
10?
Cause I'm trying to. Yeah, it's probably. About
That just discombobulated your ass.
Fuck you. But, it's like super weird. Like, I only go there to do the karaoke because I like to sing, and it's kind of weird going there. It's like awkward because it's like I'm literally the only reason why them motherfuckers do the karaoke is to have fun while they're drinking. But I'm eliminating that factor completely and only going there to sing. And that's not the vibe of it at all. It's like people, like the only other person, this is what's crazy. The only other person who goes there because they like to sing is my uncle. And he's like the most like in-your-face motherfucker I've ever met. Like, he don't give a fuck what nobody, like, he's vulnerable. Like, he gets a little self-conscious about things, but he don't give a fuck. He'll walk into a room of like 300 people and just be like hobbling. His legs are fucked up and all this shit, and just be like, "What's up, dog? What the fuck is good, boys?" And like shit like that. Like, he don't give a shit. And I made this realization where it's like, bro, that's what I respect so much about this motherfucker. Is like, oh, he is actually like one of the only true, real character human beings that I know. A lot of the people that I've worked with in construction, they're the same way. They have different personalities, of course, but like, they don't give a fuck. Some of like the funniest people I've ever met working in trades, they're funny because they just don't give a fuck. They'll just say like some off the wall shit or do some off the wall like unique to them shit and not give a fuck what you think. Like, they're not saying it to make you laugh. They're just saying it because it came to the top of their head. And if you can find,
They just came straight off the dome.
for real, like that's why I like making the video so much. Is it was like for the first time me doing something straight off my dome. Like, whenever I sit there and I talk to Zane, me and Zane be talking on calls sometimes. I'll just sit there and ramble for like an hour or however long we talk, and it just feels so good because I'm just like able to express myself completely off the dome, off the dome on that motherfucker, and that's just, I don't know. I just find that is the path I want to go towards. Be it if I drop off of this music shit, and which I have faith that I won't. I have faith that I'll make something great into this. I really have faith that this will be something that I keep with me for the rest of my life. But I don't know if this will be the main focus. It might be a side focus. I might find something else that really captivates me and do it uniquely to me off the dome and not give a fuck what it interferes with. And there's been so many times where I've started it that way and then held back to an extent. Like on my videos, I went off the dome and didn't give a fuck what nobody I knew saw. Like, for the most part, like any of my friends that would see it, they would say all this shit. I wouldn't give a fuck. But there was still an aspect of like my other grandparents. They were like one of the most supportive people with anything I've ever done. Like, they're the only people who I've ever talked to and have like told me that they're proud of me. Like, which is
Right.
me thinking about that. That's kind of crazy. But like 2 weeks ago, they called me and we talked for like an hour, and they were like, "We're proud of you." And I didn't really think much of it, and I was just like, "Thank you." And we just kept on talking. But it's like, I was too afraid to show them my videos. I was too afraid of this and too afraid of my music and shit like that. And I'm gonna talk to them tomorrow because I've already planned out a phone call with them. But I think that's one of my next actionable steps, is to test those waters out. Test those waters out and see if I can move forward with that shit, because I feel like a lot of people, there's little things, like I've just mentioned an example of mine, where they're too afraid to let go of these things. Getting off of the procrastination and all the self-help things, which I think there's merit to, but really focusing in on this. I feel like one of the other most important things is, well, it ties into the procrastination because it's self-awareness, but constantly being mindful of these little things that you bury in your mind. And the only reason why I feel personally I'm able to think confront these things is because of my sobriety. Like, all the times through my youth, one of the main reasons why I would indulge in so many of these things is because it's like complete escapism from facing those realities, facing those little things. I mean, my relationship with the people I'm talking about has been this way since I was young. They've always been super supportive. They were the motherfuckers who bought me my guitar. They were the motherfuckers who, whenever I've gotten in trouble in the past, came down and told me how much they care about me and they don't want to see me getting in trouble like that. They were the motherfuckers who dropped everything they did whenever I got in my accident and got life flighted, and were like bawling, just crying, making sure I was alright, gonna like leave work and quit their job and come see how I am. But they were the ones who I was most afraid of throughout my whole childhood to disappoint and share my true dreams with. And just now, I want to make this public. Realization that I've had, so it gives an example to those people watching the podcast of, damn, there's something like this that I gotta face, that maybe I'm self-medicating against, maybe I'm trying to bury deep where I don't have to face it and make that revelation themselves. There, I was vulnerable. I did it.
Well put, bro. Well put. That's something that I struggle with myself. I don't struggle with it. I got more of a grip on it now than I ever have. But particularly with weed, I would just like, bro, every chance I could, I would just like fucking non-stop, bro. And I spent so much money on that shit.
Be open, but we gonna cross out the names.
Bro, we in a legal state.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about that Delta 8, boy.
We're in California. I live in the Bay Area.
Yeah. Yeah, I live in downtown. Anyways, nah, but I was escaping so hard, bro. I was escaping, just going at it like nonstop, and like I made the realization that I was running from something. I didn't know what it was, so I did a lot of meditating and sitting down with myself. Like sometimes I would just sit down and like not do anything and just think about what was going on in my head. And one day I fucking, I started like crying, like, and I was thinking about my grandpa. I've only met him once that I can remember. I'm sure I met him a lot when I was younger, but my dad's dad, I've only met him once in the past like 5 years. And when I went over there to go to his house, this motherfucker, like, he had medication everywhere. His house was trashed. He could barely walk. He could barely talk to me. And he had I don't know if it's like dementia or something, but like he can't remember who I am most of the time. Like, and he knows inside of himself who I am, but at the surface of his memory, he doesn't know who I am. So, like, it's just I think that was part of what I was running away from, because like when that happened, it was so like traumatic. And he's the same person who owned a record label. He owned a record label, and he was gonna put my name underneath the record label. And like, you would actually like his music. You would like his music. I'm gonna send you some of his music today. But
yeah, we were talking about that last time. You were telling me that you couldn't remember the name of it or whatever. Well, I'm interested in that for sure.
Yeah, and so basically, I was running away from that, and then I started crying about it, and I was like, after like 10 minutes, I felt way better, and then I got up and went outside, and everything was just like beautiful. Like everything just like that. My whole perspective on life changed, and I was like, all right, I need to quit running away from this and face it. And so I did. And it hasn't been like a like every single day was like I was getting it was like I was aware of what was wrong, so I made the conscious decision every day to try to do my best. Sometimes I fell back, I fell off the wagon, but right now I'm doing really good. Like I've, I do sometimes for fun, but like I don't do it to escape anything anymore.
For sure. I mean, I feel like the most positive thing with my sobriety that I've gathered the realization from is like it's therapeutic to face your regrets on a sober mind because it really makes you have to deal with them. Like for me, I get cravings still, and I just made this realization whenever you were telling your story right there. Is it's like yesterday, or I don't remember, I was talking to Zane about me. I've been watching all these Travis Scott videos and shit in the studio, and like just like being engrossed in it. I fuck with the music, the beats got me, and I just see him smoking blunts back to back, and I'm just like, fuck, bro. I remember doing that. That was so fun. The culture of it, the bongs, the this, the that, the little nuances of it and different things, and I started to crave it again. And I was telling Zane where it's like, oh, I don't remember what I said to you. I was just like, I was saying that like, oh, I can't do it because of like my addictive personality. When it's like, nah, I can't do it because for one, I dissociate too much. I dissociate, like, I could never open up like I just opened up if I was doing that, because I was literally, it fucks me up. I just start feeling cringe inside. I just start, like, feeling weird. I'll look back and hear back something I'd say, and I'll be like, oh man, that's weird,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Well, a lot of people get different. A lot of people, like, people say weed helps them with anxiety and shit, and I think some people it does, but some people it can definitely make you a lot more anxious.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, that's just kind of a part of feeling like high. It's just like getting like anxious. You're like, damn, I look like stupid as fuck right now. You're like high or drunk or something, and you're trying to like do something like professional or something,
Right?
For sure. It's like, whenever I would go over to like Jacob's house and all them, and I'd be smoking, like the first couple times, I would literally just, like, it was like I'd fucking just third party see myself sitting there and feel so stupid. Like, I did this. I remember I got high for the first time after not smoking for like 3 months, bro. This is I think I told you this. I went to the gas station with Jacob after we smoked, and I filled up my gas. I tried to, and it kept popping up saying enter a number, and I entered that bitch 10 times, and it kept denying my card. And I was like, bro, I'm putting my fucking pin code in here. And I went to the next gas station. I left the gas station and everything and went to another one. I was like, this fucking shit might be broken. I zoomed around the same gas station, went to a different pump, and did the same thing. I was like, oh, this whole fucking gas station's broken. And I didn't say nothing to Jacob. I just drove over to the next one, and I looked at the screen, and it was like, enter your zip code. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I like, it felt like I was tripping, bro. Like, I zoomed out. I was just like, what the fuck? I was embarrassed. I filled the fucking gas up. I just got back in the whip. I was driving down the road, and I looked at my rear view, and I saw I didn't even close my gas cap. And it's like, I just started realizing, I was like, bro, what the fuck is wrong? I dropped that hoe off. I was like, all right, bro, I'll see you later. I went back home. I just smoked until I went to bed. And, like, for all those people listening out there, it's like, oh, this motherfucker can't handle this shit. I'm gonna let my ego go a little bit. Motherfucker, I was smoking a lot. Like, I mean, I was used to that shit. I had tolerance built up, dabs before school and all that shit. Like, I was fucking heavily into that shit. But even throughout all that, like, I didn't like smoking and going out in public. I didn't like smoking and doing things. I just like smoking while I was like in my room playing fucking video games and escaping even more. Like that was like the only reason why I really feel like I mean, there's fond memories. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like the same way I think about the video games, those fun times and shit like that, and specific
Right.
moments that I think back on fondly. But as a whole, bro, if I could gone back right now, which I can't do, and I can't change the past, so I'm not gonna harp on it. But I would have way much rather myself have been kept making beats after I made that album with Adam than do any of that other shit, because that was truly what always would pop in my mind about what I want to do. I'd have fun listening to some music, and then I'd keep going and going, and I'd be like, damn, I wish I could be doing some shit like that. Go home, repeat the cycle over and over and over.
Right.
And it's like, I've had ups and downs with this for like 2 years now, where this is the longest stint and the most consistent stint I've had on it. I still have ups and downs with certain things, but I mean, I've finally gotten, I feel like this is why I feel so confident and so I have so much faith in myself now, is that whenever I first started, I was in self-improvement. It was for all the wrong reasons. It was a distraction by itself. When it first started, it was all about like me wanting to chase women and all this shit. Then that progressed into me like doing like 10 different art forms, and then alcohol coming in and out, weed coming in and out, and then finally now for like the longest like 8-month stint, it's been at least
Right.
pushing forward. And I mean, I still fuck up, and I still have like specific times where at least once a day I'll doubt myself because I don't think I'm doing enough, and those are the times the most where I want to drink or I want to do something. But I don't know. I don't know no fucking like therapy. I've never talked to a therapist, so I don't know the solution to that problem besides you just work more.
I feel you completely, man. It's been a journey for sure, and I don't know, like you're right. The self improvement thing was definitely a distraction at first, but it became something greater than I could have imagined. I'm sure you feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I made a cool realization wall. The various fucking self-improvement people I've watched, thousands of hours of that shit probably, but it's like all the advice is generic, and they all just have different ways of spinning things. And like, I would read so many comments that would pull me in and out of doing it, make me feel cringe for doing it, then be like, nah, fuck them. I'm David Goggins, dog. I'm on this shit. But they'd all be like, oh, saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing. This person's saying the same thing. And even my videos mirrored what they were saying. But the reason why it's all generic, and this is what self-improvement as a whole can be boiled down into. You need to go through that journey. You need to go through that journey, waste a little time, I believe. But it's all generic because all it's boiled down to is action. All it's boiled down to is don't procrastinate, do what you love. All it's boiled down to is stop distracting yourself and escaping and just get the shit done. And it's the most generic and oversaid thing because that is the only thing that works. You can go on Google and look up how to be O. How to be in the letter O. Or how to O. And it'll be how do I obsess over this? How do I get the passion over this? Just through searching it without the full word, because that's how so many people want to learn that. And I still want to build my obsession and build my faith in myself, but I feel like the level I'm at now is I'm actually proud of myself for that. And a lot of people, it just comes down to you just gotta fucking go through the ringer of that shit. There is no video you're gonna watch. There is no self-improvement journey, nothing besides the real world journey experience of going through the ups and downs of this shit and having the realizations. Like, I love this podcast because I'll sit here and be talking out something and have a realization on my whole fucking life. Or you'll be saying something and I'll realize it and I'll like have a whole epiphany on something that I'm dealing with. And I mean, it's kind of dystopian for me to say it online. It's like some fucking Truman Show movie shit. We're all on like a computer screen, but that's just the way the world is nowadays. I mean, me going, it would be a lot simpler if I could have this fucking meditating in the woods, but the world, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, that's what. That's essentially what it is. Got that Bob Ross happy little tree mint. Yes, sir.
Where do you find that?
Fucking five. No, Michael's, the little art supply store. They had him at the checkout in the checkout line, so I had to grab them.
You still been doing a little bit of oil painting and shit?
I did I show you that crate that I did? Me and Ellie did.
Yeah, that shit was dope.
Yeah, that's the last piece of art that I made. I'll show chat one more. I know I showed y'all last time, but I showed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that shit is cool.
Yep, did that on some portobellos.
Some portobellos. Some shiitakes.
Yes, sir. The lion's mane.
Some cognitive enhancements. I just love oil painting, bro. That shit is like.
Have you still been doing that shit, Karen?
Yeah, I did. I did the last two I did was the Kanye one and the Rick Rubin, and then I was gonna do this like David Bowie portrait, and I started like getting into this weird like mode where I was just like nihilistic and just like fucking like I'm so down. Like I felt like Joji or something, bro. I was just like, man, what the fuck? And I just like went in there like expressively and just like made like a sad clown and everything, and then I painted over it. But it looks dope. So what I think I'm gonna do is use it as like a background, cause it's kind of like a shadow of a sad clown, and then do David Bowie over it. It kind of worked out, but I do like I try to do a little bit of an oil painting every Sunday. I remember I was obsessed with that shit at one point, like I am with my music now. I was sitting there watching fucking video of portrait paintings, but a cool thing to think about the way I would do that, I did that the same way I did my music. And to make a correlation for the people between the two of those things is we talked about doing what you love. You gotta also create what you love with no fucking rules at all. It's like, this is the best gem that I ever got from Rick Rubin, researching anything I've ever heard him say, is creating what you love with no rules. It's like, whenever I do my oil paintings now, it's the only art that I don't have any rules. Like, I'd go in there and I'd make fucking monsters, I'd make like super abstract shit, and then it's like, bro, with oil painting as a representation, there's not sounds. There's no like with music, it's like, oh bro, that fucking 808 kicks hard as fuck. Oh bro, that guitar riff in there on Let It Happen, do 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 do. That shit is cold. It's all auditory and widely seen as like, alright, this is the positive plug-in. This is the positive sound. But with oil painting, bro, you can just throw a fucking monkey wrench in the mix where you have Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo, beautiful looking portrait paintings and statues, and then some fucking Picasso just comes in with like African abstract, his take on portraits, and he's the fucking most famous painter in the world. To me, that's the most beautiful poetic thing about why I love oil painting, is like how freely how can I say, how freely expressive it is. Like, and then with what I love so much more is like the online, bro. It's like, if you wanted to make that a career, you would have had to fucking gone and been in New York, some fucking Basquiat, Warhol scene of like galleries and all that shit, bro. I sit there, my art does the most out of all my content online. if I post a portrait painting, it automatically gets 1,000 views, and I get people literally asking to buy that shit. I'm not famous. It's not like I'm getting fucking like 100,000 views, but 1,000 views on a portrait painting and like 5 people saying it's sick and saying like, oh, I need to buy this now. I did one on my grandpa, and this bitch was just like, oh, I love this so much. Can I commission one? And I was like, no, I don't do commissions. Leave me alone, whore. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. But it's just like, I talk so passionately.
You need to start doing art. That might be your shit.
Bro, I love the music the same way though. I just don't have, the music is different because it takes more of a skill set. And that's what I love about the music, is like the painting, it's a dime a dozen. Like, you can get a 5th grader's finger painting, and because it's such a pure, raw form of human expression and everybody can do it, that it's like, alright, there's just another one. But with the music, if you can truly find your voice and your way with it, and develop a technique and develop a certain amount of skill with it, it just creates a fucking Kanye West, or a Kid Cudi, or an Elvis, or a Michael Jackson, or one of these beautiful works of art, a fucking System of a Down. Like, whenever I first heard System of a Down, my stepdad played Toxicity. Bro, that was the craziest shit I'd ever heard in my life. Like, I'm listening to fucking Take It Easy by the Eagles, and like this just like classic rock Carrie Underwood shit. And then all of a sudden I hear like, wake up, take a little makeup, and I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? And he put me on the first song I remember from System of a Down was BYOB. You know that song, Zane? From the that's from the I think the Mesmerize album, where it was just like what the fuck is that song? Let me see if I can play that bitch. Let me see if I can find it. But that shit, bro, that is what I love so much about music, is you can take that unique expression of like fucking folklore music from the Middle East and use technique with instruments and create something so sound, with such a sound that it's like, bro, I watched Rick Rubin talk about producing that, and there was this station in Los Angeles, K-Rock, which was like the biggest station, and I guess System of a Down had just came out, and they were like, we will never play this music ever. And a year later, they came out with the Toxicity album, and they were playing it. It's like, you can do something like this song. That shit. Like that little like whenever I heard that shit, and I was like 10 years old listening to this in Lincoln Park on my SpongeBob MP3 player, that was when I fell in love with music. Like that shit is crazy. Like that's why I love music so much. Like so much more is just like that was my first love artistically. And then I remember going to school and I think 7th grade, 6th or 7th grade, and I was at that light by 646 by the Chick-fil-A. You know what I'm talking about? The Chick-fil-A's here and the Walmart over here. I was sitting at that light. It was 6 in the morning, and we were going to the middle school. No, I must have been in either 5th or 6th grade. But we were going to the middle school, and my dad put on Eazy-E. That fucking song by him where it's like, hey, why don't you come off the piano and play some of that stupid shit. And he's like rolling down the street, and I was like, that was the first time I ever heard rap music, besides like my mom being like racist about it. And I was just like mesmerized by that. And then I went into like this whole phase for the next 3 years where I'm like sitting there listening to this. I went to the library when I went to alternative school for the whole weed bullshit, and I would get CDs. And I remember listening to like the Beastie Boys CD, because they took away my door in my room. They made my bed on the fucking floor. They made it like a prison cell because their thought was like, alright, you want to get in trouble in school, it's going to be like jail around here. So all I was allowed to do was, they would take me to the this was 2 months. They'd take me to the library once a week and allow me to get a book. I would get the Walking Dead comic books, and they'd allow me to pick out a couple CDs. and they gave me this little CD player boombox thing. That was all my entertainment was for 2 weeks. I lost like fucking 60 pounds playing basketball outside. Just no inputs from fucking distractions. This was the weirdest point in time because it was like the only point in time I was eliminated all of the fucking the escapism, and it was just purely what I loved to do with what I had. And bro, music brought me through that. That was like my earliest thought about me wanting to do music. I can't remember. I think I had a old PV guitar, and I would play on it with this little amp, and then I gave it up as soon as I went back to school, and I started falling back in love with the weed again, and then that blossomed. But that shit. That's why I like the music.
Bro, I found my grandpa's music. Look this shit up. It's called Wicked Witches by Gary Josie. It's like some country shit.
I think I can stream it to us on here. What, by Gary Josie?
Yeah, Gary and then Josey. He's got a couple other songs on there too under his name. Do I Remember You?
I can share my screen. Can y'all see that?
Yeah.
Telecaster going.
Everything's always fine.
Oh God!
Till I reach Miller Time. That's when my resistance begins to fall. Pretty girl walking by, giving me the eye. I got the Playboy pennant stuck on off the wall. Hello, wicked witches, and them ain't no demons. Keep dancing all over my mind. Wicked witches, and them ain't no demons. Keep twisting my thoughts from time to time.
Hey, that shit.
You see that shit don't even got that many views, bro.
All work keeps me better all day. Good
Bro, you
news
should try to sample
is
that shit.
all I wanna get.
Hey, low key.
We'll drink to the ones we love. Take care of them and pray we don't run short of Miller beer. And those wicked witches and them ain't no demons. Keep dancing all over my mind. Wicked witches and them ain't no
That's actually pretty
demons.
good.
Keep twisting my thoughts from time to time. Wicked witches and them ain't no demons. Keep dancing all over my mind. Wicked witches and them ain't no demons. Keep twisting my thoughts from time to time. Wicked witches.
Bro, that shit. That actually pretty good.
Yeah, shit, for some country music, it's not too bad.
That. I love country music. I love all country music. And that shit, it reminds
Oh,
me of
so
like
you
the
like
old
that?
Texas
You like that
country.
Florida? You like that Florida Georgia line shit?
I don't really find myself listening to like a lot of modern country music, but like all the Hank Jr., Glenn Campbell, uh, who Conway Twitty is like one of my favorite artists. I love just like all that old country shit. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's even some newer songs. I like that Tyler Childers. He's got that one song where it's like, I don't need the I don't need the laws of man to tell me what I ought to do. That one's pretty good. I mean, there's some good shit. Luke Bryan, or not Luke Bryan. Who's that one guy? The fat guy, Luke Combs. But I mean, I ain't really listening to it right now. There's been periods where like all I listen to is like Elvis and Conway Twitty. But right now it's mainly just been like hip hop and shit. I actually Zane. I actually been fucking with that Utopia album.
Who was that
Like
by? What was that?
the new Travis album. There's one song on there.
Oh goddamn! I didn't like
Bro,
that.
I mean, it took me 2 listens of it to like it. But I mean, there's not every song I like. But there's the 3 songs I like the most. There's the Hyena, the first song, the Modern Jam, and the Circus Maximus. The Modern Jam, it has this new guy on there called Tizo Touchdown, and I've seen a couple of him, and he seems like kind of weird. He's like dresses like fucking crazy, and he puts like nails in his braids and shit, and like real outlandish shit. But he has like a fucking 10-second feature on there, and little line from him, that shit just spoke to me. I liked it.
I might have to listen to it because the last album or last thing that I listened to was that Escape Land right after after Astro World, and that shit kind of set me like kind of threw me off about him because he kind of like explains what's gonna happen inside of the Astro World Festival before it even came. Like he released the song before the festival even began, so he like basically like prophesized this shit, like he spoke it into existence. So like whenever I listened to that song, I was like, hey yo, this motherfucker awesome. Like I gotta
Yeah.
chill.
I think he is satanic, like for real.
He might be,
I don't know,
bro.
I feel like he's definitely a little strange. Like I've seen a couple. I was real into him.
No, I feel like he's like in some secret societies and shit, and like he'd do anything to like get eternal youth or something. You know what I'm saying? Like
You think Kanye
one of them types.
as well?
Nah, Kanye is different. He a different kind of maniac, bro. He just kind of like
Yeah.
Kanye is like, you know he's not like that, because he's just like, instead of just being like, yeah dog, I like this and I like that, he just be like, you know who I do like? Hitler. I don't give a fuck. Cancel me, bitch. That's how you know that motherfucker ain't controlled. He just sit on there and going like, yeah, all these fucking Jews controlling shit. Like, I don't know. I don't believe in a lot of the conspiracy shit, or I just don't really care to look into it. But I just feel like that alone, whether or not I agree or disagree, kind of eliminates Kanye from like the whole, oh, that motherfucker's evil, or in some like
yeah.
Hillary Clinton baby eating shit. But
Well,
I don't
the
know.
thing
The
is
only
is
thing I
that
do-
we have. Oh no, you go ahead. I thought you were done talking.
No, I was
You
just
said the
gonna
only.
say, I don't know, and the only thing that I do know is that he makes Graduation, and I really fuck with that album. And that's the only thing I can go off of, is that motherfucker has never made something I don't like. So,
That's
for
fair.
children, I mean, if it's feeding the songs, if he can make another Graduation and it only costs 4 or 5 babies, and whatever, dog.
Shut the fuck up, bro.
I mean, it's like, how much? 350, 375, 3 1/4 babies. make another all the lights, make another late registration. Get Mike Jones and Paul Wall on the same song. It's a baby and a half for each one of them.
Yeah.
Like that fire shit, you know what I'm saying? If someone came up to me right now and was like, "Alright, you want Paul Wall to spit some straight up bars on your track, but it's gonna cost you a quarter baby." Hey, where's the baby? Where's the baby? I mean, if he can,
Yeah, but then people start getting like addicted to the babies, you know, and before you know it, it's like 100 babies of fucking ad lib. You know, it gets out of hand. Like,
yeah, you gotta be careful. Like, once you start getting to like, all right, that's gonna be. I said candy paint. You want me to say candy paint? That's two babies. You want me like that's where I draw the line.
yeah,
I feel like Mike Jones.
because they're addicted to them. You know,
Yeah, like Mike Jones, he didn't ever have as many.
it's like
kids.
painting somebody in crack.
Yeah.
That shit's so
Mike
fucking.
Jones, though, you could
That's
get
so
Mike
bad,
Jones to
bro.
be like, now I'm back on it. Back then they didn't want me. I could get him to spit a whole verse because he only had one hit. I could get him to spit a whole verse.
Just get him to say the exact same thing again.
For real, like, I did this whole, he could just write this whole song over to me for like I could 4 babies.
Shut the
It's like,
fuck up, bro.
If you want like a fucking Kanye feature, you talking in the millions of you talking about some fucking Palestine. That's probably what's going on in Palestine. I've been hearing about all the babies over there. Someone wanted a Kanye feature.
Alright, that's too soon,
Hey,
You got the Palestinians watching this fucking podcast.
That's probably where all those viewers are.
how much you think-
Now we ain't gonna have no viewers now, bro.
How many babies is it for a Wrangler Star feature?
Shut the Wrangler Star, bro. You talking about that dude who
He's like Kanye.
is that the dude that like makes those like Yo, Wrangler Star.
It's like, beloved. If I could get a beloved on the beginning of my song, beloved, and then I just start bars, that'd probably be worse. At least. No, I can't start being. I was gonna start doing like. I can't say that. That's too much. You'll never know what I was gonna say. All
Leave
right,
him in
boys.
suspense.
I feel like it's been a very productive podcast. Feel very rejuvenated. Ready for the next one. I'm gonna go.
Yes, sir.
Shit.
Podcast is only halfway over, Cameron.
No, we normally do about an hour to 2 hours. Hey Zane, you want another couple hours? It's gonna be about 3 or 4 babies.
No, I don't do that.
Don't lie, bro.
All right, boys. Y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir.
Alright, have a good one.
Peace.